Welcome back, guys,
Welcome back to
to
the
Baby
struggle.
Got Stacks. Yeah, Baby Got Stacks, the struggle, same thing. Same.
I just don't get it.
Someday we'll look back at this technology and laugh and chuckle. Maybe someday we can be super bougie and hire someone to just do all of it for us.
Won't that be the day?
That would be the day. That would be wonderful. Maybe if we opened our own bookstore, the person that we hired to help run it can also help us.
It's just tech savvy.
Exactly.
Just please help us.
That's the ad wanted. Just please help us.
Please help us.
That's it. This week we went a little darker, and boy did we go a lot darker. I tell you what, when they said dark romance, they meant it.
When they put a content warning, they meant it.
Yeah. This kind of, it reminded me. I'm trying to remember how my mom used the term, because she was like, is it like 50 Shades of Grey? And I was like,
oh
yeah, but like turned up to like 100.
Yeah, it's like not just ink stuff. It's like these are genuinely bad people.
Yeah.
We read Hooked.
Yeah, if you couldn't guess by the tone of our voices, yes, Hooked by Emily
McIntire.
Yeah.
It's a never after novel. It's the first in that series. And each book is about different characters based on a different fairy tale.
Yes, and I figured that we would get into that at the end, because I'll be able to bring up Goodreads and do my segment.
Okay.
Because actually, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. A fifth book is coming out.
Oh.
In the series, I saw that on Goodreads, so I can talk about that as well.
Cool.
But yes, this book is the first in a series of will be 5 this year. I believe it's coming. I don't exactly remember. We'll get into the details, but the series, like Mel said, is there's fantasies and things like that in here, but this one is with Peter Pan retelling, kind of. It says in the beginning of the book,
I guess.
Yes. It says it is not fantasy or a retelling. The main character is a villain. If you're looking for a safe read with redemption and a bad guy turned into a hero, you will not find it in these pages. So it's not a fairy tale or anything like that. It's an adult fractured fairy tale is what Emily like terms it as.
Yeah. It's like same character names and like design and like looks, but
yes. And honestly, that was one of the things that I loved about this book. Yeah, they kind of touch on little things like his nickname's Hook.
Yeah.
There's a bad guy named Croc. He doesn't like the ticking of watches. Like, there's certain things.
Her name is Wendy. Yeah.
And her father's name is Peter. And his Hook's like sidekick on his boat's name is Smee, who wears a red cap. Like, there's all these things. And then Wendy's dad's flying company is Nev Airland.
Yeah.
Honestly,
the bar's name is the Jolly Roger.
Yeah. I really liked it.
It was pretty good.
It was really good. Okay, so I guess
back.
Yeah, back. James has always had one agenda: destroy his enemy, Peter Michaels. When Peter's 20-year-old daughter Wendy shows up in James' bar, he sees his way in. Seduce the girl and use her for his revenge. It's the perfect plan until things in James' organization begin to crumble. Suddenly he has to find the traitor in his midst, and his plan for revenge gets murkier as James starts to see Wendy as more than just a pawn in his game. Wendy has been cloistered away most of her life by her cold, wealthy father, but a spontaneous night out with friends turns into an intense and addictive love affair with the dark and brooding James. As much as she knows James is dangerous, Wendy can't seem to shake her desire for him. But as the relationship grows more heated and she learns more about the world he moves in, she finds herself unsure if she's falling for the man known as James or the monster known as Hook. Let me tell you, this book is spicy.
I gave it a 4.
I gave 4. You know why I didn't give it a 5?
Why?
I
Why?
didn't like that he kept calling her pet. It
Oh.
irritated the hell out of me. I hated it. So it was like I physically was cringing when he'd be like, "That's my pet." I'm like, "Oh, no, 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 gross."
I gave it a 5 because
A 5 or a 4?
oh sorry, 4, 4, 4, 4.
I was
I gave
like,
it a
"Wait a minute."
4 because I don't know, I didn't really like Wendy.
Mm. Okay.
I don't know, there wasn't like much to her until like the end is when she got interesting. Plus the whole ending, like the resolution, all happened really quickly at the end.
It did. Yeah.
So, but I
Yeah.
hear the next one is what people's favorite is.
I have heard that the
Yeah.
second one is really good. Yeah, this book starts out like right off the bat, murder.
Murder.
Yeah, it starts with it feels different than I thought it would, killing him. I was like, oh,
Immediately.
we're off to the races. And okay. So it starts with James killing his uncle.
Mm-hmm.
So also I really liked the back of the book, how it had the character profiles.
Oh yeah,
Loved
that was
that.
cool. I was really making sure I didn't read it until the end in case it gave anything away,
Oh, and
which it kind of does.
it did give something away about siblings.
Uh,
Yeah, it gave that away. So James, aka Hook, his parents were like in cahoots with Wendy's parents, and James and his family, after a business adventure, they are flying back home to England on one of Peter Michaels' planes. It
mhm.
crashes, kills his whole family except him. So then he goes to live with his uncle, who's very, very abusive to him. And once James turns 18, he kills his uncle. Which I was like, okay. I mean,
Yeah,
I
but
don't condone killing, but like he
yeah,
he had. I mean,
yeah.
he was
If you're
really
gonna kill
abused. Like,
someone,
yeah,
it
yeah,
should be him.
exactly. And so then, uh, this guy named
Well,
Rue.
yeah, Rue.
I loved Rue.
I really like Rue.
I was very sad what happened with Rue, and we can get into that. But so Rue takes him in. James actually follows Rue after Rue leaves the uncle's house one night because,
Kid, yeah.
yeah, Rue was the only one that could talk to his uncle, James's uncle, and James was actually like fearful, or he saw that Rue was not one-upping his dad or his uncle, but that his uncle was fearful of him. He was like,
Yeah,
oh wow, like that guy, he's going places.
yeah, that
So
guy.
that guy. So ever since he was 18, he kills his uncle, and him and Rue have this huge business where they basically scare everyone in town.
Mm-hmm.
And like if you
They're a
don't want
mob.
me to, oh, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're a mob. Yeah, they own the Jolly Roger, but that's more of a front for like all the drugs that they are dealing.
It's called
And
pixie dust.
yeah, see, another one. I was
So
like, oh,
good. So
that's good.
good.
Oh, I loved it. And so he's always wanted to get revenge on Peter Michaels because it's his plane that killed his whole
Yeah.
family. So that was his life's mission. I was like, I feel like
Yeah.
there's bigger goals in life, but okay.
Well,
So
because it led to him having to live with his uncle. I guess.
yeah, which like I get. So then one day there's a commotion at in the front of Jolly Roger, and it's Wendy and her friends. And
They're
this is
20.
yeah. Well, I think only Wendy's 20. I don't know about her other friends.
Oh, yeah, I guess I
I
don't know,
think
yeah. But she needed a fake ID.
yeah. And so also this is from like two perspectives. Like we flip-flop in the book.
Oh,
We
yeah.
go between Wendy and James. And so then he sees that it's Wendy and he recognizes her. And so he's like, "Oh, this is my chance to like try to get Wendy so that way he can
Yeah.
get back at Peter."
Hmm.
And then it's this whole love affair
Yeah.
between them. And it is the
Very
most
dark.
toxic relationship I've ever seen in
Yeah.
my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's basically just him trying to get close to Wendy so that way he can ruin Peter. But then as he's getting close to Wendy, he's actually having feelings for her,
Yeah.
which he struggles
Until.
very hard to. Yeah. So then one night, well, it's not night, but James and Wendy are taking John, which is Wendy's brother, to a boarding school that their dad's like never around. Peter is
No.
the worst father ever.
Yeah.
And
forcing John to have to go to a boarding school even though he wants to be homeschooled.
yeah, I think he's 17. I don't remember how old John
17.
is. So then Wendy was like, well, I have to take him like to his first day. I don't want him to go alone. And the school's on an island. I'm like, what kind of money is
I know.
this? James and Wendy go. Well, James also has a business deal with Peter. And, or
He's
I
supposed
think
to go
maybe,
with Rue to go meet Peter for the second time.
yes.
It didn't go all that well the first time.
No.
Peter's refusing. Like, neither are letting it their side down because they both want to be top dog.
Mm-hmm.
But Peter's trying to get on their turf, is essentially.
Yeah. So then James realizes that he's going to be late to this meeting. So Rue's like, well, I'll go alone and I'll just meet you there. So when James gets there, it's very quiet. And he finds Rue has been nailed to a tree and gutted.
Cut in half. Gutted.
Yeah. That one was, it was rough to read.
Yeah.
I really liked Rue. I really thought that they were not going to kill him off.
Yeah.
Shocking.
He went there.
He went there. Yeah. So then he realizes, oh, well, Wendy must be in on Peter's schemes because she was the one that made me late to this meeting.
Yeah, and they'd heard that
that a woman.
There was a woman was coming around asking for their pay and saying that, you need to pay us now. And it was a woman, and so he just figured it was Wendy. And so naturally, what do you do next? Kidnap her.
He kidnapped her and then locked her away in the basement. Yeah, which he had for his killings.
Yeah.
So then he takes her onto the boat and basically is saying, I will kill you. I will put John into danger if you do not do what I say. And John, like, she loves her brother. And so that was the thing. Like, she didn't care if she died, but, like, don't touch my brother.
Yeah.
And so then he's like, well, you're going to be my plus one to this, like, big extravagant affair.
Yeah.
Because Peter was there. And so then she gets there and he's realizing, Peter and his daughter Wendy, something's strange.
Yeah, they don't seem to be on the best of terms.
Yeah, Peter was pissed off.
Yeah, and oh God, when that comment she made where it's like, oh, like, how do you two know each other? And she was like, oh, didn't you hear? He popped my cherry.
I was flabbergasted. But also, too, like, another reason I gave this a 4 out of 5, I was like, of course she's a virgin. Like, I don't know.
I know. It just always has to be thrown in there for whatever reason. Like,
and I kind of get the innocence because, like, Peter Pan being, like, never wanting to grow up.
But,
like, I get it.
I don't think it needed to be brought up at all.
No.
Yeah, but
also James calls his group the Lost Boys. Yeah. So that was also a nod to Peter Pan. And so he realizes that Wendy actually isn't in on it and feels really bad. And I'm like, well, yeah, you kidnapped her.
Kidnapped and threatened her life.
But then Wendy realizes that her dad didn't even know she was missing. And I don't remember how long she was gone for, but it was like multiple days.
At least a few days. Yeah, she got fired from her job because she never showed up. And he had security guards placed at their house that she was supposed to be inside of. And your guards didn't even mention I wasn't here. Like, you didn't even think to be like, oh, my daughter's inside, and they didn't check. Yeah,
so then something finicky starts happening when she's on the boat because the door was unlocked, so he locked her into the bedroom, and then when she got out, Smee was there,
Yeah.
and Smee is his like right-hand man
In-house
captain.
butler kind of a thing.
Yeah. So he found Smee. Smee was hanging out outside the Jolly Roger, homeless. He figured, I'm gonna give this guy a chance. He seems like a nice guy that's just down on his
Yeah.
luck. And so he's been helping James, I don't even, like a long time. So she asked, like, I don't know, James was being a dick and like the entire book, and he wouldn't let her, like he didn't want her to go off the boat. And she asked me, like, can I just go sit on the dock, which is right by the boat.
Yeah, literally
And
right there.
He was like, yeah, that's fine. And so she's going to sit, and James comes like
Well,
flying
she
in.
asked if she can sit out on the deck of the boat first. And
That's
then
true.
he was like, yeah, you can. And then she was like, oh, let me go ask him if I can go sit out on the dock. And she was like, I'm my own person. I'm not actually leaving. I can go sit on the dock.
That's true.
Smee tells James to left the boat.
And then I'm thinking to myself, okay, she's right there.
She's literally right there.
Like, James, just take a chill pill. So then another
the
thing.
The boat that he lives on is called Tiger Lily.
Yes.
The Tiger Lily. So good.
See, I loved the little subtle. I mean, they weren't subtle, but like.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It wasn't too cheesy.
No. And James hates the sound of clocks ticking because his uncle always had a pocket watch. And that was super loud. So he just hates the sound of clocks.
Yeah, so James is so protective of Wendy that when he goes to the coffee shop she works at, there was a guy that was being pissed at her because she had fallen and spilled the coffee that she was making for him, and he kidnaps
the only worker in there.
Yeah, and he kidnaps the guy and kills him. I'm like, that's okay.
Yeah.
So when he comes back, and she's getting ready, he hears the tick tick tick, and Smee was like, oh, look at this watch that I bought at a pawn shop, and James starts seeing red, like he starts going irate and makes me throw it
out
into the ocean. So then I was like, okay, I feel like Smee, he should have known. Like I was like, well, maybe he doesn't know. But that's the turning point where I was like, something's happening here.
I'll mention it after we get through the whole plot. But where are we at? I guess because then once he realizes that he wasn't in on the whole thing, he kind of realizes he actually cares about her.
Yeah. After the dinner with Wendy and Peter, the Jolly Roger gets burnt to the ground.
Yeah.
And he realizes that it was Peter. So then what does James do? He makes his men go into Nev Airland and burn down all of their planes. Which I was like, that is retaliation at its finest. I'm sorry, but that is great.
Every plane.
So then Maura, who is one of his bartenders, who drives me nuts.
Oh,
she used to hook up with James.
Not even fully.
No. No, it was very, I don't know. It was very weird. So then there was one of the guys, because he's starting to see people like, I already paid this person, all this stuff. So he's trying to figure out who is taking his money. And he finds out that the guys they want to be part of this other group. And so when they get part of that group, they get a tattoo of a crocodile around a clock. So they are saying that they're like, well, what woman? They're trying to figure out who is swindling them, basically. And so they're like, okay, well, now we have a lead of a tattoo. And
so he sends this man, he's like, go strip everyone down and bring me whoever has a crocodile clock or some version of that.
Yeah.
And they get it.
Yeah, and then they find out that the actual woman I thought was Tina Bell, who is Peter Michael's assistant. And she was pissing me off. Yeah, she was pissing me right off. Come to find out it was Maura. That one was a plot twist at its finest. That one was good. Pretty sure he kills her? Probably. I'm pretty sure I'm sure he.
But
I wouldn't put it past him.
Well, it wasn't Moira. She was the woman going around, but she's not the Croc.
No, the Croc was Peter, wasn't it?
Me.
Oh, that's right. So that's right. At some point, they're in a room with Peter, Wendy, and James because
Well, because Moira's like, I know where Wendy is. Do you? Because Peter had told John that they were gonna have a meeting,
that's
and
right.
so that got Wendy to the mansion, and then Tina Bell got all crazy because she was jealous of Wendy because Peter always talked about his little shadow. Oh, that's another one. Calls her his little shadow.
Well, Tina also was high on pixie dust. She was
Also,
tripping.
Peter made her try all the drugs to make sure he wasn't getting swindled.
Oh my god.
So yeah, and then they kidnap Wendy and takes her to that cove that Rue died at, and then James goes there because Moira's like, "Do you know where Wendy is?" And he goes to the cove because he had Wendy wear a diamond collar that was also a tracking device. So he found her there, and Peter was there, and he was like, "Wow, you kidnapped your own daughter." And then Smee came out. He's
Yes.
like, "Oh, I'm the Croc because you killed my dad, cousin." And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
I know. I was like, what? What?
And he's like, my uncle didn't have a kid. So I guess he was sent away to live with his mom. And he wanted to go back with his dad, but he had James there. And so he was like, okay, when James turns 18 and moves out, you can come back and live with me. But James killed him. And I guess Smee was in the alleyway when James killed him.
And then James was like, well, that makes sense. Someone could have been watching. I wasn't paying attention. I'm like, yeah. You're killing someone. Maybe you should have been paying attention.
And he was like, if you wanted my life, Smee, all you had to do was ask. I would have left.
I know.
He was being abused by his uncle.
Yeah.
And he's like, honestly, you should be thanking me. You never lived with him.
Yeah. And so then come to realize Peter, I'm pretty sure, killed his wife because when Wendy was young, her mom had died in a car accident. And then she was like, Mom didn't die in a car accident.
Well, that didn't come up yet. It was Starkey, who like really hates James, was one of his like minion guys, ends up holding a gun up to Wendy because he's so pissed off at James. And he was like, okay, like, you're not gonna shoot me because Starkey has Wendy. And then Peter's like, whoa, this wasn't part of the plan. Because he was just like, oh, Wendy isn't gonna actually die. Yeah, you can use her as a pawn.
Yeah, and then I'm pretty sure we found out that like Peter was wanting everyone to die. Like he purposely made the plane go down because, come to find out, Peter's wife and James's dad had an affair, and that's how John was made. So James and Wendy share a half brother.
Share a brother. Which, like, I don't know how it makes me feel because, like, okay,
doesn't make me feel good.
No blood relation.
No, but
you share a brother.
But yeah.
But when Peter saw that they were actually threatening Wendy's life, that's when he kills Starkey and Smee, and so they get down. But then Wendy's like, fuck you, Dad, grabs a gun and points it at Peter because Peter's still gonna kill James.
Well, she was trying to get him to not kill her dad because like that's her dad at the end of the day.
But he was actually like dead set on killing James. And that's when he admits that, like, no, I never loved John. Like, he's not my kid.
Yeah. And so then
Jesus Christ.
I know. So then Peter had a gun to James's head. And that's when Wendy kills her dad.
Bum, bum, bum.
I'm sorry, you guys, if this is a lot to take in. I mean, yeah, they had
2 kids. They get John back. They live together.
Yeah, they live basically happy.
There's an epilogue and then an extended epilogue. The epilogue is like 2 years, and then the extended one's 10 years later.
Yeah. Yeah. So it ended well. I
guess.
I guess if you could say that. Like I said, there's a lot of characters. I mean, we're not going to get into like, too many details. So sorry if it wasn't easy to keep track of all the characters, but
have you watched Once Upon a Time? That old show. You have. I was
Yeah.
just picturing Hook from there as James. And
Yes.
I am not mad about it.
No, I was not either.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, there's definitely a kink in this book, so she loves being choked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
She
was.
likes to be on the brink of death,
Yeah.
essentially. She calls it euphoria.
The scenes were well written.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't like when he called her pet.
Yeah.
It really made me
It
cringe.
threw me off.
Didn't like it.
Pretty short book. Oh, let me see.
Pretty sure chapters too, I feel like.
Yeah. With the 2 epilogue, wow, my cats are going crazy. With the epilogues, it's 319, and I feel like the words are decently big.
Yeah.
So each page flew by pretty fast.
Yeah. It was a good book.
It's well written. I liked it.
I think if you like dark
Mostly.
romances, you would like this book.
Yeah, you just have to understand it is a dark road. Holy Jack, you're not tiny. Oh my god, he just.
Wow, that
Go.
was
Oh my lord.
that was amazing. But
yeah,
yeah,
he's a big boy.
all in all, it was a good book. It just
Jesus Christ, Jack.
it's different from what we've done on this podcast.
Yeah. Very different.
I think this book, at least for me personally, is my first dark romance.
Yeah, it is mine too.
I can't think, like, we own other dark romances, but I haven't gotten to those yet.
Well, I guess you read Priest. Would you call that a dark?
Oh, I don't even know what I'd call that book. I wouldn't say dark romance because there's no like killing and things like that.
Mm.
I feel like I would just call that straight up porn at this point.
Okay.
I don't. I don't. Yeah, there wasn't anything like dark.
I guess it's just like Priest. I don't know that.
I don't know. I'm still trying. I haven't. Yeah.
Oh.
Definitely forbidden. I haven't read the other 2 in that series. I'm a little scared, to be honest. Well, and this book kind of makes me scared to read Haunting Adeline.
I know.
Because
if this is just a fraction of what Haunting Adeline is. Because that book is also so much longer.
I know. And I've heard that one's way worse. Yeah. This one was good. No, Priest is more, yeah, forbidden love, forbidden places. We'll go with that. I don't even know. I
had such a good thought about this book last night while I was laying in bed about to fall asleep. I was like, oh no, that's such a good question. I won't forget it.
You forgot it, didn't you?
I completely forgot.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
None set up, but I'm trying to think.
I kind of almost wish that like more books had the profiles in the back, because I don't know, I kind of liked it.
It was pretty cool. I liked going through it. Like that must have been what she was using as like making sure that what she was writing would fit with what the character would actually do.
Yeah. I mean, they got really detailed.
Yeah, it did. I guess overall, I just wish Wendy was a little more dynamic, I guess, because I guess her growth is her, I guess, standing up for herself, and
yeah,
I guess.
I'm curious too on the age difference, because I feel like James is a lot older than her, and she's
26. It says in the back in their thing. James is 26.
Oh.
And she's 20.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
All right.
Bad.
No.
Yeah.
I've seen worse. Interesting. I've seen worse. Overall, good.
I thought he was up to something when he kind of he'd be like, oh, do you want me to make up the guest room? Like some of his questions about Wendy that James was like, oh, like, why is he asking that? I figured he was up to something. I thought he was going to try to steal her for himself.
Yeah,
I didn't see him being.
I got a strange vibe from him, but I didn't expect him to be like the guy.
The guy.
Yeah. Yeah, so on Goodreads, This book is standing at a 3.87
Okay.
with 108,582 ratings. Let me go into the 1-star. Someone said the writing is meh. Let me see. Someone, God blessed me with eyes and I abused them. This book is unintentionally funny. This is like if you give 13-year-old teen girl to write a book.
That's a disturbed 13-year-old.
Yeah. It's like the author couldn't come up with names, so they just said, yeah, it's a Peter Pan theme, and then just name everything from Peter Pan with no relation.
That was the hook.
Someone said I'm blaming TikTok for this. TikTok made me do it, or made me read it. Oh, I think I might just end on this one. James and Wendy are both losers, and the author should get a new job. That's all I have to say.
All the words they could have.
James and Wendy are both losers. Oh, that was great. Okay, so the second book is a spin-off from The Lion King.
Yeah, called Scarred.
Yes. The third book, Wretched, is from... Yep, that's what I meant.
Oh, Reginald. That's why I don't have you in here.
This is our life, guys. I don't know what you want from us.
Don't bark in here.
The third book is a reimagining of The Wizard of Oz, which I really want to read that. So I actually love The Wizard of Oz. I have 2 DVDs of it. Don't ask me how I got 2. I don't know. But I used to love watching it. For some reason they always play it around Thanksgiving. I don't know why. But I used to love that movie. I don't know. Yeah. I guess my uncle used to be really scared of the witch. I was never scared, I guess. Fourth book is Aladdin, loosely based on Aladdin.
Yeah. What's that one called?
That one is Twisted. And then Crossed is the 5th book. This is a reimagining of The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Ooh. I just really like Esmeralda.
I've never seen The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Ooh, girls' night.
That would be nice.
I want to see your face watching that.
Watching that movie? Oh.
It's good until it got creepy.
Oh, okay. Well, Crossed comes out August 1st of this year.
Okay. And Twisted just recently came out, I think
Twisted came out in February, yeah. Did you ever so I found that book, actually Barnes & Noble, they had it out before it was actually released.
And she got the last one.
I know, I'm sorry.
I did, it was in Target.
Okay.
The next time.
This is Crossed.
Oh, that's pretty.
So it's purple. It's purple.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's a black background.
Yes.
And then whatever theming it is kind of colored copying off of it. Like this one has a clock with lipstick stains.
Yeah, the books are beautiful.
They look really nice.
Also there's 2 ratings that I'd like to read. One's a 3-star and one's a 4-star.
I'm ready.
But I thought it was hilarious. The 3-star one was, this book would be better if all the characters brutally died in a shark-infested water. But they gave it 3 stars, so that was funny to me.
But like,
then the 4-star one. I've been a whore for Captain Hook since Once Upon a Time, and let's just say after this book, I continue to be a whore for Captain Hook.
Same.
And she goes, I did picture him as Hook from Once Upon a Time, the entire book. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did too. 100%. I need to. I never saw the last season of that, but I've heard it's not good. So, okay. I kind of want to rewatch it though.
episode and like half of the second and just gave up being Taylor Swift.
Okay. Well, but yes, I did. In my head, I pictured him. So overall, I mean, it was like I said, a good book if you like dark romance.
If you like dark romance.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see because it's not like you're following the same characters throughout the series. You're always gonna get a new version of something, and I'm assuming they're all romance. So
yeah, I think so.
It'll be interesting to see how she brings those into the next one because it was fun reading the little nods to Peter Pan.
Well, and you and I both love Disney movies, so I think this is a fun way to like a adult version, I guess. I don't know.
Slightly skewed version. I wonder how many she plans on writing because she can keep going forever, essentially.
Oh, there's so many.
Because there's so many different fairy tales, especially since she's doing like Wizard of Oz. She's not holding herself to just Disney.
So excited for that. Here's a question: is there a Disney movie that you would like her to write for future? Is there a Disney movie you would like to see a dark romance of?
That's interesting because she's not like necessarily even using the couple in the Disney movie as
I've got one. I got two.
You got two? What are your two?
Mm-hmm. Sleeping Beauty, I think would be really interesting.
Ooh, yeah.
Kind of the dragon, you know. Tangled, I think could be because Tangled is so like even maybe Frozen with Kristoff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could be interesting.
There isn't a love interest in Brave, but I just love Scottish culture and that whole like mystical. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that would be
anything. Little Mermaid could be really dark.
That could be really dark. Yeah. That could be interesting. Pocahontas.
Oh,
a Pocahontas one would be fantastic. Oh yeah, it'll be really interesting
too. Because the Wizard of Oz, I like that she threw that one in there too.
Me too.
That opens a whole other set of doors.
And it'll be interesting to see what she uses because with Hooked, it was so easy to figure out that it was Peter Pan. I mean, all the names that she used. But I don't think. I'm pulling it back up on Goodreads because I don't think that she uses like for Scarred. It's not really like you can't really tell because she uses like
it must be harder.
She uses like Prince Tristan. There's a Michael. There's a Lady Sarah. Like it doesn't sound like Lion King.
Well, I can imagine that was harder because if you did use names from the Lion King, I mean they're animal names.
Yeah.
At least in our head, so it might have been like sounding a little funky.
That's true.
Even though they're all African words, I'm sure they're just normal words with meanings. But like to us, we just associate. You'll just think of a lion. At least if you hear Wendy and Peter, you at least think of a human.
Exactly. You do. Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah, and I don't think. Yeah, it doesn't really sound like for the Wizard of Oz. She uses Evelina. I'm probably butchering that, but whatever. Nicholas, and I guess it's just about them
that one's hard too because a lot of you can't name someone like Scarecrow and the Cowardly Lion.
That's valid.
There's not a whole lot of names in that anyway.
Aladdin one's kind of easier. There's Yasmin, and Julian. About forcing a woman he can't stand into marriage, so it's like that kind of thing. Yeah. And then Cross makes sense because there's like an actual bell on the front.
Oh, yeah.
And it's about Father Cade is a holy man, and it's in the streets of Paris. And when he's tasked to become a priest, there's Amaya. She spends her days caring for her younger brother, and her nights transforming into Esmeralda, dancing with greedy eyes and shameless lips. So that also,
We'll get it.
Yeah. Oh, and when Father Cade lays eyes on Amaya, he finds himself ensnared, convinced she's using witchcraft to lure him to her. Okay. yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. Oh my
We'll
God.
see.
Someone they didn't give like a rate. Oh, it's just like reviews. Someone says a priest and a dancer. Girl, I hope they fuck in a church. I was like, oh,
You should comment. You should
read
read Priest.
priest because girl, you will love it then. That's all they do. Yeah, that book still haunts me. But yeah, so I'd recommend Hooked. I think the series is really good, and like Mel said, you don't have to read them in order. They're not
I'll
about
stand alone.
yeah. Next
Exciting.
week.
Is that
I
actually the book next week? I don't remember.
oh, well,
I don't remember.
I mean, I'm reading
Should
it.
I check?
I thought it was. If it
Just in
isn't,
case.
this is gonna be a real
Awkward.
awkward as I'm looking it
Yes, it
up.
is. It is.
It is? Okay, thank God. I'm like 100
We're
pages in. I was like, I can't go
it's
back.
too late now. We're reading Daisy Jones and the Six.
By Taylor Jenkins Reid. Have you looked at how this book is written?
Interview style, right?
Yes. And I don't know, like, I don't
It's
know how
like
I feel about it.
it's about a woman in their band. This is loosely based off of, or it's at least inspired by Fleetwood Mac.
And I'm going to tell you what, I thought this was an actual band because when you look up
Oh,
YouTube music and you look up Daisy Jones and the Six, there's an actual album.
yeah.
I got real confused.
Oh. Well, now there's a TV show about it, and for that they made an album.
Makes sense
So
now.
the cast members actually recorded music for the show. You can like get the vinyl of it.
That
It's
makes
based
sense.
in the
70s?
70s.
Mm-hmm.
A band in the 70s that got messy.
Late 60s, early 70s. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is like after the fact, later on in life, someone's interviewing them and they're just recalling what happened.
Yeah, this book, the entire thing is interview style. Like the whole thing is like just chunks and you see who's talking and that's it
Interesting.
for
And
the
it's all like
entire book.
past tense, or do they?
It's them talking about what happened in the past.
Okay.
It's kind of what I'm getting the gist of, but it's like I don't know if you can see it,
Yeah, it's all question answer, just
but there's not even
something
any
in response.
questions. There's just answers.
It's just them talking
Just
through.
them talk. Yeah. So, yeah, each chapter is about either Daisy or the Six, and they break it down. Let me see if I can. So, the chapter will have like the chapter title. So the first chapter is called The Groupie, and then it has Daisy Jones's name on it, and then the year
Oh,
of like
cute.
when they're talking. So this
That's
says
pretty cool.
65 to 72, and then the next chapter is about the Six, and it's the rise of the Six, 66 to 72.
That
So
almost
that's
feels
how
like a transcript of a documentary. You know what I mean?
almost
Like they made a
yeah,
documentary, just put it in, wrote it out.
it is because like one of the band members will talk about like a person like a producer, and then that next thing is about the producer talking about like what they were talking.
Okay. So it's like you
And
get both sides
yeah,
almost.
and so far it's good. It's really hard to get used to the way it's written, but
Right. It's different.
I really liked it so far. I'm 110 pages in, and it's very interesting. I mean, they are talking about like doing cocaine and staying up. Like it's
Right.
very heavily, I mean, it's 70s, but you really like, I mean, they feel like real people. Like you really get into it.
I'm pretty excited. And afterwards, maybe we can do a bonus episode of us watching at least like the first episode,
That'd be cool.
right? Yeah, if it's, I don't think it's Hulu. Maybe it's Prime.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Um,
And then at the very back of the book, they actually have all of the songs.
oh, that's cool.
So they have them,
Wow.
and
Wow.
they
Wow.
like it's all the
What the
songs.
fuck?
It's actually
Huh.
pretty cool.
I was very tempted to buy the vinyl record of it, but I was like, I should at least read the book.
Yeah, so far it's good. It's really easy to follow. There's
Mm.
I mean there's not a lot of characters. I mean there's I think well, 6. There's Daisy and then there's the group of 6. And so
So
but
7.
it's really easy to keep track, and then they're like managers and things like that, but
Right.
and then Daisy has a best friend that they also like she talks into, and
Oh,
no, it's pretty cool. So far I like it. It's
neat.
definitely different than anything we've read, I think.
That's cool because Taylor Jenkins Reid does basically historical fiction, kind of about celebrities, is kind of what she's doing now. Her previous
Yeah.
books were closer to romance. I don't know which book was the turning point. I don't know which one came first, but we have previously read Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
Love that book.
Really like that, and that's based on actress's life
Mhm.
essentially. And then I think after this, well, her most recent one is Carrie Soto's Back, which is about a famous tennis player.
Yeah, and then she's got Malibu Rising,
And
which
Malibu
is
Rising.
about celebrities.
Yeah.
And
So, yeah,
then
I guess
yeah.
historical fiction, because they all happen in different decades. I don't know when Carrie Soto is supposed to begin. But anyway, that's next week. I'm pretty stoked.
I'm very excited. Yeah, I'm definitely curious on how it's gonna play out and like what's gonna happen with the characters. Because I mean, you basically get to watch Daisy grow up from
Mm-hmm.
14 on and kind of come into her own self because she was kind of self-conscious. She didn't really want to like be on a record deal and all this stuff. So you get to see her kind of mature and change. And so far, it's really good.
And I'm curious, because I have heard it's based off of Fleetwood Mac, and I know a lot about their drama being in a
Yeah,
band
and
together and whatnot.
Yeah, and I don't, so it'll be interesting to talk to you next week about
Yeah,
it.
to reflect about it. But yeah, that's what we got going on next week. If you want to know our schedule, we got it on our Instagram, a Baby Got Stacks podcast.
Yes.
We also have a link in our bio to where else you can find us, like on Goodreads or TikTok.
We'll
Yeah,
get on
there's that
TikTok
thing.
eventually.
But yeah, follow us wherever you're listening to this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You can give us a message if there's a book you want us to read, or if you have an idea for a bonus episode, or if you do want us to record our opinions on the show. I'm sure we're gonna watch it at least on our own anyway. So
Yeah, I'm sure.
yeah,
Okay, well, I guess that's it, guys.
I guess that's it.
All right, well, we will talk to you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.